What's going on, y'all? Nick here, coming to you with another video. All right, check this out, y'all. So I was scrolling on Facebook and I came across this group from Christian Family Worldwide, and it said, "Is it restricted for Christians to eat pig in the New Testament? We need the interpretation of Acts 10, verse 10 to 15." All right, so first, let me start off by saying this, right? If you love Jesus, then everything I'm about to say is going to make sense. But if you don't, then you're going to get offended. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, in the Bible, it says that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, Yahweh, right? And the Word was God, Yahweh, Yah, right? Okay, so why am I saying this? I'm saying this because if you do not love the Word, if you do not understand what the word actually is saying, then ultimately you will never truly understand Jesus. So this is why you can see why Jesus said himself that, in that time, many are going to say, Jesus, Jesus, haven't we prophesied in your name, done these great miracles in your name? And he's going to say, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, because I never knew you. And the reason why these people don't know Jesus is because they fundamentally never understood the word. They never understood what it actually meant. So now let's actually get to this, right? So you have in Acts 10, verse 10 to 15. Let's actually read it, all right? So you can see here, I'm on this Bible app, right? Bible, I believe, Gateway. And let's actually get to verse 10 to 15. All right, and this is what it says. And he became not, he is, they referring to Peter. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they were made ready, he fell into a trance and saw heaven opened and a certain vessel descending upon him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. And Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again for the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. Now, historically, Christians have used this verse to somehow believe that, all the dietary laws in the Old Testament are suddenly they're done away with because of this one passage. Now, I'm going to go to another passage because, again, in Numbers 23, verse 19, it says this: God is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. All right. So, in other words, what it's saying is that God is not like you and I. He's not like man. He's not like flesh, right? Where we can say something one day because we don't know the full picture. And then tomorrow we might have to repent because, I changed my mind. I didn't know the whole full story. You see, man, we repent. But the Most High, he is not like man. He already knows the end from the beginning. So there is no need for him to retract. You see, this is the problem with doctrine, especially those of you who profess to be Christians. I don't understand how you can believe in a God who is omnipotent, omniscient, right? All knowing. If he knows all things, what is there to repent about? I mean, what? God is going to say, oh, I made a mistake? No, 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 no. You made the mistake. Your doctrine is the mistake. You see, there is no contradiction. If you, I hear it all the time. Oh, these verses seem to contradict itself. No, 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 no. Your interpretation of those scriptures is what's contradicting. So if you ever you are reading two passages and it doesn't seem like it's lining up, fundamentally that proves that you have interpreted it wrong. Period, point blank. But the scriptures is not flawed. All right, so here's the true understanding of it. Again, and all people have to do is just read. If you keep going down, this is what it says clearly, right? In verse 16, it says, This was done thrice, right? 3 times. And the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now, while Peter doubted in himself what the vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry of Simon's house, that's Peter, and stood before the gate, and called and asked whether Simon, which surnamed Peter, were lodged there. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit, you see, now listen again, because the Bible defines itself. It says, while Peter thought on the vision where pretty much the Most High was he was seeing all these unclean animals, these 4-footed beasts that were unclean, right? And then the Most High told him to eat, and he questioned. Why he questioned? Because he's like, man, Most High, you don't repent. You don't repent. And you said from the beginning, like, this is the dietary law. We should not eat pork. We should not eat, shrimp and all this other abominations. So why would you all of a sudden, it looks like you switched up? No. This is what they're referring to. So when he thought on the vision, right? The Spirit said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore and get thee down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. In other words, you don't have any need to doubt. These men, right, they are the quote unquote unclean animals, right? They are the ones that are unclean. Then Peter went down to the men which was sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause therefore ye are come? And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man, and one that feareth God, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews, was warned from God by a holy angel to send for thee into his house, and to hear words of thee. Then called he them in and lodged them. And on the morrow Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. Now, if you jump down, right, to verse 34, right, after Peter is done communing, breaking bread with, Cornelius, embracing him and all this stuff, look at what ends up happening, right? In verse 34, it says, then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth, I perceive that God is no respecter of persons, but in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted of him. So now, why is this important? This is important because, again, what you have to understand, historically, the Most High have always dealt, and is still only dealing with one group of people, which is Israel. But what you have to understand, the historical context is that Israel, for the most part, did not mingle with the nations, right? They were very separate. And we are still called to be separate. However, what you have to understand is that this right here was a revelation given to Peter, allowing him to understand that, hey, you know what? Don't be so distant towards the Gentiles, or those who are probably considered the uncircumcised. Why? Because the Most High is no respecter of persons. Anybody who fears the Most High are able to come into the fold through Jesus Christ. You see, so this is what's important. The vision that he got where he was eating a whole bunch of unclean food, it was not telling him that he could eat unclean food. No. The unclean animals and the beasts of the field, all of them were a representation of the nations. Because in the eyes of the Most High, they were at one point in time unclean because they were afar off. They didn't keep the laws and statutes and commandments of the Most High. But now through Jesus Christ, he's given everybody the opportunity to come and receive salvation, provided that you believe in Jesus Christ and that you keep the law of Yah. Keep the law of God. It's really simple, you guys. So now, what you have to understand, when Apostle Paul came on the scene, now it would start to make sense when he said certain things, right? Let's go to Galatians 2, verse 7 to 8. It says, but contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, again, right? The nations, they were not circumcised. That law was not given to the nations. The circumcising your son on the 8th day was given only to the people of Israel. So Paul is saying that the gospel of the uncircumcision, those who are far off, the people of the nations, right, was committed unto me, as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter. You see, Peter was given the gospel to preach unto the Jews, right? Israel. So this is the reason why that vision he gave him a lot of doubts, because he was just like, what's all this mingling with unclean food, unclean animals? I never did that before. And so now it's going to start to make sense. Verse 8, for he that wrought effectually in Peter, right? In Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me towards the Gentiles. Now you will start to see also in Romans 11, verse 13, why it says, for I speak to you Gentiles. That was Paul, Apostle Paul. For I speak unto you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles. I magnify my office. Now you can understand why Apostle Paul had a whole bunch of books, right? What it says, Romans, right? Galatians, right? That was the people of Galatia. Thessalonians, right? The people of Thessalonica. Philippines, the people of Philippi, right? If you analyze, mind you, they are letters. They are letters. If you analyze them, what do you notice? Oh, these are all places up north. Rome, Philippi, Galatia, right? Thessalonica. Oh, okay, because Paul was preaching to the Europeans, the people up north, right? The Gentiles. It's literally that simple, you guys. Now the Bible would start to make sense. Look, you guys, don't be fooled or deceived by people that tell you that you can eat whatever the hell you want. That is the biggest lie from the pit of hell. You cannot eat whatever you want. And the Most High has never changed his program. All right? Don't take a vision that in the same chapter was already defined and explained that it was referring to Cornelius and on a larger scope, the Gentiles as a whole, right? Don't take that vision and then presume to believe that the Most High thinks it's okay for us to eat unclean food. How does that, again, he is not man that he should repent. God is not going to repent. If he already said something, he meant it from the beginning. He's not going to change his mind. Jesus don't have no instructions saying that you can eat pork, horse shrimp, or anything that's unclean. It's an abomination. So again, if you love Jesus and you love his word, this is going to make sense to you. But if you don't, you're going to get offended. You're going to come up with your own doctrine. And even though it's very clear, it's so clear to you what this vision is, people are still going to fight it because fundamentally people just want to preserve themselves. They don't want to actually die out to themselves. They don't actually want to die out to their own sinful flesh and their sinful nature and their desires and lust. No. People don't want to die out to that. So people are going to always use the Bible. They're going to use it for their, and they're going to wrest the scriptures, deceiving not only themselves, but they're going to deceive you. And they're going to come up with these doctrines saying that, oh, you can eat pork and you can eat shrimp and you can eat whatever, you can eat, all these other nonsense that the Most High already commanded you from the beginning. It is not good to eat. Anyway, I hope this video was clear. I hope you guys were edified from it. If you like videos like this, please like, subscribe, comment down below. And, please share with somebody who may need to hear this message. Hopefully they can actually receive the message and repent. With that being said, you guys, Nick over and out. Jesus is King, y'all.